All right, everybody, welcome back to episode 44 of Top Tier Podcast. My name is
43.
Poppy. 43. I'll start
Nick
it again.
Hogan here.
I started again.
What it do?
No, we're good.
All right, are we good? We good? All right.
All right, look.
All right.
Let me speak directly to the audience before we begin, okay? Because there's something that I regret to inform the audience, but if you guys are not fans of music, this is not the episode for you. I implore you to go listen to the plethora of other episodes that we have available for you guys on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or take your ass to YouTube, watch some of the clips that we have available there. But if you're not a music fan, this episode is for music lovers, okay? Because we're going to talk a lot about the Grammys today. There's a lot that went on during the Grammys, and I mean, if you are not absolutely flabbergasted by what took place, what transpired at the Grammys, I can't help you. This is not the episode for you. I just had to get that out the way. But before we begin, my good man, how was your week? How's your mental health? Any weekend plans? Anything special?
It went well, man. Not so far. I might be doing something a little later with some friends, but, last weekend I saw an old friend. I haven't seen him in years. We thought he lived out in Palmdale, so that's why we was like letting him get away with not come to see us. Sometimes he would dip in L.A. and we would
Had
like
a little excuse going.
Every time I see him in L.A., I'm like, I send him the eyes emoji, like, bro, I see you, bro.
You see you.
He watches the podcast too. I'm shouting him out.
Shout out.
But we went to see what's that movie called? Knock at the Cabin. We saw that last weekend.
Oh, okay. That M. Night Shyamalan one?
Yeah, the M. Night Shyamalan one.
I mean, we're not starting here, but like, what's up with it? What's the reviews like?
I don't know. I don't think it's as bad as like old and a lot of the couple other Shyamalan movies that have been coming out in the last couple of years, but it was too basic. It was
just
too
so-so?
simple.
Yeah.
There was like no twist. The movie had like no twist. It was just like what you read the synopsis. Like, the synopsis. Spoilers for people who don't really care. I'm not going to give you like a full breakdown of what happened, but it's like an apocalypse movie. It's like these guys come knocking on this family's cabin, and they're like, "Hey, man, we got to do so and so.
Someone's about to die. Yeah,
someone's about to die, but we got to do this so that we can save humanity. Like we have it basically, and that's what happened.
We could probably expect M. Night Shyamalan. He's been missing. He's been missing lately, so I can understand that.
No twist. It wasn't a bad movie, but it was straightforward and predictable, and it was like I give it a 6 out of 10, maybe a 5.
Nice. Yeah, my week was pretty decent. I've been, I had a little bit of a migraine sickness or whatever throughout the week, but we made it through. I still had to get them clips out. Go check out the clips on YouTube, you guys. A little free promo here. Go check out the clips on YouTube. We've been working hard there. I made a sudden realization this week, actually. All right. I've been I'm gonna be honest. I've been on Tinder pretty heavy lately.
Okay. Bumble?
No Bumble, just Tinder. And I made a realization. No BOK either. I got some problems with BOK, bro. Or maybe BOK got some problems with me because my matches don't be coming in on BOK. I'm gonna keep it a buck. But on Tinder, bro, I mean, I've been thinking that new $500 premium plan, I might have to.
Stop.
I might have to.
If it was yearly, I still wouldn't buy that bullshit. But
is it simping?
I can see it being more realistic. I think it's
simping,
bro.
if you get that plan?
I think it's soft and simping if you get that plan.
It's soft? Damn, I'm soft.
Because dudes already have unlimited matches for $20 a month. What do you need?
It's so hard to get these girls out the house these days, bro. On Tinder, at least. I'm telling you. The people that are on Tinder, the Tinder users, they can vouch for me. It's been hard to get these. I don't know if it's just me. I don't think it's just me. It's been hard to get these girls. All these girls want to do on Tinder is just talk about, what school they going to and send you some Snapchats. That's it.
That's why you got to get out in the field.
I'm out in the field low key. I'm out in the field, but
if they ain't going out of the house, go find the ones who are already out of the house.
Yeah, maybe it's me. I'm simping. Ever since I saw on Twitter someone say that simp just stands for she is my passion, I've never looked at it the same.
It literally that is like the best acronym for simp.
It definitely is.
That should be the official definition.
That might be the title of the episode.
That is the perfect title. Dude, I don't know why that's like one of my favorite insults. It just rolls off the tongue like simp. That guy's a fucking simp. It just rolls off the tongue. Or like
Oh man. All right,
Call
let's get it
somebody a
started,
simp.
bro. We got a job to do here. Let's get it started. All right, like I said, we're starting with the Grammys. Grammy week. Obviously started with a Bad Bunny performance. Let's just walk through it. Let's just walk through it. Started with the Bad Bunny performance. Now, I needed to see this Bad Bunny performance. I'm gonna be honest with you. I've been kind of perplexed as to the reason why people could just listen to somebody who has the same exact beat on all of his tracks and just flips up the flow a little bit and everybody is just grooving out to it. Just, oh, he's the best artist in the world. But as soon as I saw this performance, I needed to see it because now I understand. Now I understand exactly who Bad Bunny is. He's him.
Yeah, I've seen some Bad Bunny. I just don't think it's meant for me. But I understand why he's famous though. Like listening to his music, I understand like why he's a top artist. He just isn't for me personally.
I mean, he brought out everybody, bro. He brought out all the Spanish dancers. He didn't have any like any features on his performance or anything like that, but he rocked it out. A lot of people were clowning the fact that the Grammys, they didn't have any subtitles for him. Instead, they just, because he's a Latin artist, so he was speaking in Spanish. All his songs are in Spanish. Instead of having the actual closed captioning, they just had non-English.
Which is disrespectful as hell.
That's
so
just disrespectful,
like,
yo.
They was just like, fuck this dude. We don't.
I don't understand how for the biggest artist in the world, you're not gonna put in the investment to have actual subtitles that people can read for the biggest artist in the world. Or
just don't do any at all if you really don't. Or if you really don't care that much.
It can't be that expensive to get some closed captioning, son. I don't understand that shit. That shit was disrespectful as fuck. And speaking about disrespect, go ahead.
I was saying maybe I'm just forgetting how live shows work, but are there subtitles for live?
I mean, there's closed captioning for everything. You just have, I don't know how it works exactly, but there's closed captioning for everything. If you just press that little CC, you should have closed captioning for everything. I just don't think that they invested enough money into getting him closed captioning. I don't know. But speaking of disrespect, I'm gonna talk to the audience directly right here. I hope none of our audience is who I'm about to talk about. But to all the people that were on the internet talking about, or dissing Kim Petras and Sam Smith's performance, all that it's demonic and the gay agenda, they're forcing it down my throat. Y'all need to go fucking kill yourselves.
Yeah, I don't like that gay,
yourself,
the gay agenda comments, especially like when it comes to TV shows. Like they're forcing it on my children. I'm like, but we see, how many heterosexual storylines you see in these shows? Like the boy likes the girl, and you know what I mean. Like whole episodes dedicated towards it. I don't think that's fair. I never think that's a fair argument.
It's dumb as fuck, bro. These are
it's just bigotry.
It's the bigots. It's the fake Christians. It's the conservatives, the homophobes. It's all these same motherfuckers that are out here. Y'all sound just like the people that were like in the 1960s talking about black people during the civil rights movement. Oh, they're forcing that black agenda on us. This agenda of equality.
Bro, they just call it woke now, and they do this. They do the same shit today.
It's like, bro, it's not a fucking. It's not a. There's no such thing as a gay agenda. There's no such thing as a Black Lives Matter agenda. There's no such thing. They want to talk about the socialist agenda. You could go on and on.
Don't even know what socialist is. Anything that isn't brutal far right politics or brutal capitalism is just socialism.
The feminist
anything
agenda,
other than that is communism. Just straight communism.
Immigrant agenda, liberal woke agenda. Y'all got all these different agendas. No, nigga, the agenda is just called progress. Like it's a movement. Duh. Y'all try being oppressed for hundreds of years and tell me if you want to be silent about the movement that you're starting.
Exactly. Yeah.
Y'all need to shut the fuck up with that shit. Go crucify yourselves, guys. I just had to get that off the chest.
They're not gonna stop though, bro. They're not gonna stop, bro. It's especially with the internet. I feel like a lot of people just do it for trolling reasons.
It's too easy.
It's too easy. It's too easy. They get the reaction. Like I don't want to. We're gonna get into this later. This is like a side comment. We're gonna get into this topic later. But right before I got on, I went on Twitter and it was like dudes is talking about it's woke that there's blacks and gays and trans people in Hogwarts Legacy.
And see,
there should be thing. And it said no blacks and freaks. I swear to God, it said no blacks and freaks in Hogwarts.
That's the thing.
Some troll put that on Twitter.
It's so weird to have to come on here and shit on people, just ordinary citizens, for, you know, wanting to diss certain types of movements and certain types of forms of representation whenever they see it, and they act like, oh, you're forcing it down my throat. You're just, you know, slapping me in the face with it. But then in the same token, I got to look at the Grammys and call them out for their shit. Because what they did with that stupid ass fans segment, the fans, where I don't know if you saw this, but they had a segment where the fans came out and they were introducing all of the nominees and the candidates for Album of the Year. And I'm telling you, literally, by the third person, we all knew who they were about to talk about. We all knew who they were about to introduce. They had the white woman introducing the white woman candidate. They had the black woman introducing the black woman candidate. The lesbian introducing the lesbian candidate. Like, what the fuck are we doing? Can we get somebody in here that actually has some... I mean, it is pandering, but can we get somebody in here that actually has some common sense? This shit is dumb.
I just think it's interesting. I think it's interesting seeing both sides of the spectrum where, you know, you see the open bigots. What I mean by both sides of the spectrum is, like, in this case, this just kind of seems like pandering, or someone might actually be a bigot in private, but they're doing something they think they're winning them brownie points, even though they don't really care.
Exactly.
I know that. I mean, that's what I'm saying. But on the other side, you have people who just openly bigoted. They're not trying to pander. They're not trying to pretend. And we can really, you know, there's more pandering topics to talk about later. That's
we'll get to it. Yeah.
But I just think it's interesting seeing both sides of the spectrum. What offends you more? Do you like your bigotry open so you can avoid it, or you like people kind of playing in your face, kind of like that, like playing in your face?
What a question! I don't like either of it. All right? I think that if you're gonna be an ally, then just be an ally. Like, act in terms of being an ally. You shouldn't feel a need to force it. If the Grammys is gonna come on here and you're going to allow a openly transgender woman to perform, probably the first time in history that we've seen that, right? And then even honor her by giving her an award that same night. But then in the same token, you're going to do that backhanded symbolism shit where it's like, oh, we got to throw in some stereotypes. Let's have the black woman talk about Beyoncé, and let's have the white woman talk about Adele. If you're going to do no black straight men, by the way, I thought that was interesting too, but that's a different topic for another time. That's a different topic. But
my question for you before we move on.
Yeah.
Because I think about this all the time, because what you said by no black straight men, I agree with that you see less and less black straight men, but on the same token, a lot of people saying that is agreeing with the gay agenda argument. I've seen that discussed on Twitter. A lot of people say that they're saying that it's an agenda. It's like a feminist gay agenda mix, that you don't see black straight men represented as much on TV as you used to see.
Well, like I said, I don't believe in this.
I was curious what you think about that argument.
I don't believe in this agenda.
I don't believe in it, but I can't sit here and act like I don't see, because I don't think there's anything wrong with saying, I don't agree that there's a gay agenda or a feminist agenda or whatever these clowns say, but I can't help but notice I agree with you that I see less and less black straight men on TV, and I just wonder about that.
Yeah, I mean, that's just comes
I'm
down
not
to
saying it's
representation.
agenda or anything, but I just wonder about that.
See, to me,
I just don't
comes
see
down to
that
representation.
being represented.
Yeah, and if it's not represented, that's up to us, the people that deem ourselves to be social activists, the people that proclaim to be allies of a certain group, of a certain minority or marginalized group, to come out. And that's when you have the movements like Oscars Too White or Oscars So White, whatever it was. That's when you have feminist movements like the Me Too movement. That's when you have that type of stuff. That's how you answer to those questions and to those lacks of representation. You don't come out here in which you're like ignorant, not you specifically, but all these people out on the internet and all these people that are on media channels and TV shows talking about, the agenda is just too in your face. Like, no, that's not the way that you answer these types of things. Another thing that pisses me off the most is that people have just an obliviousness, I guess, to the fact that there are intersections in these groups, in these minority groups. Just because you are a black person does not mean that you can't be gay. Just because you are a gay person does not mean that you are not black or any other group or ethnicity or nationality, whatever the fuck. I don't care. Like, there's an so I hate when I speak, I'm going to speak specifically about black people here. I hate when I see a lot of us talking about how there's a gay agenda, because we know that, like, a lot of black people
and
are
it's not only
Christian.
us. And it's not just us.
I'm just speaking specifically about us right now, because that's the community that I come from, so I can speak from a place of experience. And you know it too. Like a lot of black people are Christians. So there's this thing where it's like you have this Christianic side of it where it's like, gay people are sinful or whatever, that LGBTQ plus community is sinful because of the way I just don't, the rhetoric. I don't agree that with what they do. I'm not saying anything about them personally, all that dumb shit. But my guy, like these people are in your fucking group of, in your community too. Like, what are you talking about? So you don't want them to represent as whatever sexuality they are or whatever. But if they walk around saying that they're not black, then you have a problem with that. It's just weird.
Yeah. I think it's weird too, because I think a lot of people, because black people, they always call us commies and woke and whatever, but we forget how conservative the black community is. The only reason black people don't vote for Republicans because Republicans have made it clear that they're anti-black very clear, whereas Democrats try to play games more with it and be sneaky. But black community is much more conservative than people even want to be honest about. And
a lot of these companies are more conservative than they want to act. Than they want to act like too.
Yeah,
like
that's hence the pandering.
Exactly. Getting back to the Grammys pandering. Like they had Jill Biden come out and present an award. Guess what the award was? A political award.
What?
Social change. They gonna give this award to some like the award was fucking for some TikTok guy. Some guy singing a song on TikTok. Social change. You're not gonna do that fucking award anytime soon.
That's some like
y'all pandering to the times.
That's not. Yeah, that's some bullshit. Like I want to see people actually. I want to see people actually in the streets, like actually fighting for some real change.
Come on now,
but that won't happen though. They won't do that. Someone who is actually a threat to the system won't even be acknowledged. So this just seems like some bullshit TV award.
It definitely was.
It's like some bullshit TV award.
And then last but not least,
I don't know.
The Grammys made the penultimate mistake in the Album of the Year winner. Now, there were a plethora of different artists that I think there was like 8 different artists that were nominated for that award. And obviously, there were only 2 real candidates that objectively should have won that award. You can guess who they are. Beyoncé for Renaissance. And Bad Bunny for I don't know his album. I'm not a Bad Bunny fan. Don't kill me.
I'm not a Bad Bunny fan. Don't kill us.
But if Bad Bunny had won that award, I would completely understand.
You channeling Kanye right now.
What do you mean? I don't know none of the
Beyonce had one of the greatest albums of all time.
Maybe I am.
That's one of my favorite lines.
I could turn up on the Grammys right now, bro. I'm getting a little sweaty.
Hold up. I'm gonna let you finish.
I'm trying to drink my water.
I don't know, man. They've been on Harry Styles' tip for last year plus, dude.
He had a great run.
I'm not denying what he did. I'm just saying.
Neither am I.
This definitely feels like the same thing as like when Cardi won over Travis' album, a rap album of the year.
Yeah.
This is like some Connects thing. I don't give a fuck. I'm sorry.
Well, I mean, there was a rumor floating around. I don't know if this is true. You guys can fact check me on this, but there was a rumor running around that Harry Styles had someone that worked on his project with him that actually happened to be the daughter of one of the producers of this year's Grammys.
Oh, come on.
So there's a little, I don't know if that's true.
Reminds me of that nepotism flow chart.
The nepotism baby, bro. I'm telling you, it's more real than we think it is. It's more real than we think it is.
He connected, he got it hooked up. He hooked it
ain't
up.
What you know, it's who you know.
Like, hey, slide my demo over there. Slide my tape.
Apparently she was working on it. I don't know. And this nigga had the audacity. I don't want to say it like that because I'm not taking a stance on this because I don't know anything about Harry Styles' background, okay? I'm gonna be honest. But he went on stage and for his acceptance speech, or during his acceptance speech, this guy said, people like me, people where I come from don't win awards like this, or something like that.
What?
And a lot of people, it was like he went up there and was like, people like me don't win awards like this, or this doesn't happen to people like me where I'm from, or something like that. And people were getting on him because, like, obviously he's a white man, a straight white man, as far as we know. That happens to straight white men all the time. They always are in the position to win awards.
Straight white men are trying to colonize. We already know,
but
we're not gonna get into it because I've been seeing over the last couple of days. Man, I don't want to make this a whole topic, but I've been seeing over the last couple of days that this whole like Proud Family thing, they were talking about slavery and reparations and foundational Black American. You know,
Yeah,
all
I
this
saw
stuff
that.
I talk about all the time.
Yeah.
And there was a whole bunch of
Great
racist
show.
white people who was like, this is anti-white propaganda.
They love going there.
We're being victimized by the establishment and Black people are oppressing us.
They love
I'm
going
like,
there.
so now, dude, now they're trying to colonize oppression?
But we've been on that. That's a
And
topic
you're in
for another
power?
time, yo. That's a
Let's
topic
not.
for another time.
Hey. Let's stop, bro. Let's stop.
We would go
Now
too
y'all
deep
trying
into
to-
that.
Because that's what it seems like to me. We're back to Harry. I just wanted to bring it up just to understand. Some people understand my mindset. So
Yeah.
now people are just trying to colonize this oppression.
Yeah,
They
I
just-
know.
And you in power.
I mean,
Okay.
we have been hearing this narrative that white men right now are just the villains. They think that they are genuinely being oppressed. They do.
That'd be like if like Lord Voldemort and Death Eaters won the Harry Potter war for our Potterheads. And it was these dudes was talking about, oh my God, the Mudbloods are oppressing us. It's like, get out of here, bro. Let's not even have that conversation. And you already know how Voldemort and the Death Eaters are. Let's
my
not even
God.
do that.
I don't know how
Or
we got from Harry
or Nazi
Styles.
Germany. You know, let's say Hitler and Nazi Germany won the war and they took over the world. And these dudes today are talking about, oh my God, we're so oppressed. Like, stop, dude.
I know. You call out the system that they benefit the most from, and all of a sudden they are oppressed because they have to take accountability for their actions
Exactly.
in history.
Yeah. That's literally what it is.
I'm done shitting on the Grammys. I think that's all I have. I took notes on this shit, bro. I made sure that I was ready for this shit. But I mean, there was history that was made. Besides Kim Petras winning the award.
What about
There was
Quavo and
history.
Offset?
We're gonna get there. Don't worry. We're gonna get there.
Okay.
I just wanted to shout out and applaud. I'm gonna give a round of applause for Beyonce, my girl Beyonce. Let me not even say it like that. I owe her some more respect than to call her my girl Beyonce. Queen Beyonce Knowles,
Queen Beyonce.
is now. Let me hit another round of applause. Is now
And the album was good. I
winningest-
listened to it.
She has now won officially the most Grammys in human history. So I wanted to shout that out. It's been an amazing run for her, bro. The thing that bothers me the most, honestly disturbs me, is the fact that she's never in her career, she's never won for album of the year. Still to this day. It just makes
That's
you
had the
just
greatest
makes
album
you
of
have-
all time.
Exactly. It makes you just have to step back. And I know a lot of the people that are in our comments hate the fact that we go racy with it, but fuck y'all. We have to call it out when we have to call it out. It's accountability that needs to be taken. The Grammys, and not just the Grammys, but a lot of these award shows do not respect Black artists. They don't. They are the first ones in place to be like, oh, R&B, you got that, Black people. You got that. Something happens.
That's how we keep you satisfied, so you won't quite criticize this
Exactly.
album of the year. It has to, you know what I mean? Like,
For everything else, it's only a certain status, a certain hue that can win those types of awards.
but this is what I always say, man. Like,
And you can point to the
why not make our own award shows prestigious for ourselves?
We do.
It's like back to like, why are you letting somebody else?
NAACP awards.
That's what I'm saying. Fuck that double NBA. You know, what is it? Double NA. I'm fucking up.
NAACP.
NAACP. I don't know why I had like a brain fart on that, but NAACP. Fuck the NAACP.
Tongue twister.
Even fuck BET. We need something else.
We had the BET awards. I don't know about them now.
Nah, not anymore. That's what I'm saying. We need something else that just, for us, it
TV
doesn't
One?
just have to be, it doesn't even have to just be award that awards Black people only, but we need our own shit we own and control.
Soul
All I
Train?
gotta say.
Soul Train awards? No?
I think it needs to be something new. It needs to be
It
something
needs
real
to be
fancy.
who needs to run that? Who needs to run at the Rock Nation brunch? They just hand out some awards.
Maybe. I don't know about
People would
Rock
go for
Nation,
that.
bro. People would go for that. Though. I think people
I'm pretty
would-
sure the Rock Nation brunch is heavily dominated by people of our skin color. So I just wanted to shout out Beyonce right there. All right, let's the elephant in the room. So during the memoriam speech, Quavo happened to be on stage performing his song. Word on the street is that, and this is alleged, I don't know if this is facts, but TMZ and a lot of other news publications are reporting this as well, that backstage before that performance, Offset and Quavo had a little fight backstage. I guess we can assume that the fight was over the fact that Offset wanted to go on stage and perform the song with him, with Quavo. Which side are you on here?
I kind of just think there was no reason. I think they both should have been able to come out on stage. I don't really understand that.
Well, I think it was I think the reason why they got into a fight is because Quavo didn't want him to go on stage with him. It was his song, and I understand that.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't know why Quavo couldn't at least had him just come stand. I don't understand what the problem with him standing and dancing or standing and just being there. Or even if Quavo was like, hey, bro, I'm going to do this song. Come out, and then we both and you can just talk for a second. Just like, I'm sure we can hook it up.
Yeah. Yeah, because if I'm Offset, bro, like, Takeoff was my family member too.
Exactly. Like, he could have just, Quavo could have had Offset come out and be like, Offset's like, hey, man, at the end of the song, he's like, this is for you, Takeoff. You're my brother. I love you. Yeah. And then Quavo could have, Offset could have came out, and then Offset could have been like, yeah, man, respect. I love you, man. Cool. Rest in peace. And they both could have walked off the stage. Would have been cool. And I don't want to get messy with it, but we do know that there's some past history. I'm not going to rehash the whole entire thing. Y'all already know. We covered it here on the podcast, I believe, too. There was some of that the beef going on back in the day over who cheated with who, and there was women involved. So I don't know if Quavo is still hurt by that, if that transpired. But I completely understand his perspective. Like, the song is my song, first of all. The Grammys invited me to come perform this song, not you. You were in the stands. So if it's my time to shine, like, hey, like, take a seat, enjoy the show. That's where I'm coming with it. I don't know whose side I stand with, though. But that's all I have for the Grammys. You want to move into LeBron? Yeah, let's move to LeBron.
All right. LeBron. It's kind of hard for anybody. I don't know if y'all been under a rock, if you don't know about this, but LeBron is now past Kareem. I'm not going to applaud him because I'm a LeBron hater. LeBron is now, he now holds the record for the most points scored in the NBA, in NBA history. So the debate and the question that needs to now be raised is he the GOAT? Does this make him the GOAT?
And we talked about this previously, but I think ultimately, undeniably across the board, if you ask anyone on earth who even has any type of idea about basketball, what's your top five? Like, top five rappers? He's on everyone's list, and if you're not, you're a Bron hater. You're straight up Bron hater. I don't think there's
anybody on earth,
and you're capping and you're biased.
The audacity to out of their mouth, to fix their mouth to say that LeBron is not top five. So
I'd even say top three. Easy. Without whether you have him number 2 or number 3, he is top 3.
And your number 1 is MJ?
Definitely MJ. Maybe you can swap him and Kobe out. Probably more like likely LeBron.
Yeah.
But he's there. At least in my mind, because that's the extent I know about basketball.
I do not think that LeBron James, just because he now holds that record, has all of a sudden crossed the threshold to now be considered the GOAT. I know that he's a self-proclaimed GOAT, probably the only NBA player in history that has ever self-proclaimed themselves as the greatest of all time. Numerous times, by the way. He's been doing this for years now. But I do not think that this just all of a sudden makes him the GOAT. No, not me personally. I think that it's going to take him another couple of championships, or maybe 1 or 2 more championships in order for him to be considered a GOAT in my eyes. Considered the GOAT in my eyes. He is a GOAT, though. He is a GOAT. There's no questions asked about that. The thing that's just I wonder about is, because of the rate that the sport is evolving into, the amount of offensive firepower that these players, and not just in the NBA, by the way, this is happening in every single American sport for the most part. I'm not a big hockey guy. I'm not a big soccer guy like that, but I know for a fact in basketball it's happening. I know for a fact in football it's happening. I know for a fact in baseball it's happening. They are making it easier for players to score because that is the most entertaining facet of the game.
Yeah, the game is just sniper game, 3-point sniper game.
Exactly.
That's the meta. That's the meta game right now.
So at the rate that we see these players becoming easier for them to score, is it possible that somebody can potentially beat LeBron's record? I mean, he still has another 2 years in his mind, but so the record's going to be up there. I mean, 30, 39, 40,000 points. But if people are out here going in their second year like Luka Doncic was doing, scoring 50 points a game, Not averaging, but like he's putting up numbers early in a career. I mean, and like you said, like if they add a 4-point line.
Yeah. If they add a 4-point line and you have Steph Curry, people who was raised in a different meta, it's like we got to be like Steph Curry.
Shooters.
We have to hit threes. Then they add a 4-point line. The record is defunct. Like who was the previous record holder and when was the 3-point line added?
Kareem. And Kareem, I think, played
question.
like what, 5, 6, 7, 8 years before they even added the 3-point line. I think he only made one 3-pointer his entire career. He got 38-some thousand points off twos. And played just as long as LeBron. I think they both played 20 years. And LeBron is going to play longer, but.
So imagine a gifted player who's like raised to be like Steph, who's gifted like Steph, and he enters a league that has a 4-point line. He's breaking the record half the time.
Someone's breaking that record. Yeah. Someone's breaking that record. I don't know if it's anybody in the league currently. I mean, I think of like Luka. I think about KD, but I think it might be a little bit too late for KD. I think he's like in his 14th season. It might be a little too late. He's up there. So if he plays like 22 years, maybe.
Right.
But I don't know if anybody in the league currently is going to be passing that record anytime soon. But in 20 years from now, another 20 years.
He might not even be born or a kid. Yeah.
Yeah. I could definitely see that award being that record being broken. Definitely. Just at the pace that the game is going.
Dude, imagine a 4-point line. Imagine they just hit a game winner.
They should introduce that today.
You're down by 3 and it's like 5 seconds left. Hit that 4-pointer, it's over.
They should introduce that today, bro. Just have like a 33-foot 4-point shot. They should do that. I think they do it in the All-Star game. I think they have like one of those, not in the All-Star game, but I think in one of those competitions they have a 4-point line for something. I think they do. They're teasing it. They're teasing it. They're going to get there. They're going to get there.
Because like that's so entertaining. Imagine an NBA where like there's a person designated on your team who's like a 4-point specialist.
Yeah.
And you bring him in when it's time. Like all they do in practice.
That would be sick, yo.
Practice 4-pointers.
That should be
tough. That should be tough.
It's not just happening in sports, man. Everything, all these live performances, all these live events, maybe with exception to like the Super Bowl. I'm not really sure about the viewership rates for the Super Bowl, but I'm pretty sure that's included. All of these live events and live performances, the viewership is going down. I mean, the Grammys had like another record low this year in terms of viewership.
Isn't internet streaming up and like YouTube and things like that?
Dude, if you have a motherfucker like this, is what people have been talking about. If you have a motherfucker like Mr. Beast who can get like 200 million people to watch his shit, and like why the fuck am I spending advertising dollars, millions of dollars for these Super Bowl ads to go have 3 million people?
Give them the Mr. Beast. Give them the Mr. Beast, you make way more money.
Exactly. 300 million compared to 3. I don't know if maybe it's like 30. Let me just blow it out of the water.
You know he making money, but all he got to do is like, hey, bro, give me them Super Bowl ads.
That man's going to be a billionaire.
I didn't make the cut. Just give me those ads.
Of
course, the dude's going to be a billionaire. Of course. He's on track. He's on the road.
I hope he doesn't sell his shit too early, bro, like QC did. Let's move into QC. That was an easy transition right there. QC sold their independent music label, to Scooter Braun for a reported 300 to 400 million. I'm sure those numbers are a little funky, so I'm just going to give it a little range, 300 to 400 million. First of all, it's like, who's evaluating these companies, bro? I feel like every single time there's a black-owned company, nobody knows exactly what the actual monetary value is. I feel like they lowball it. I feel like they throw out these random numbers. I know we hear a lot of these things like Jay-Z, Dr. Dre, people like this. You know, they have P. Diddy. I know a lot of these people, they get these like lucrative deals or whatever, but like I find it hard to believe that these white people that they're selling this property to, this IP to, are actually giving them the full value of what they're worth. I mean, QC.
I don't believe it either, man. Much as we get fucked over in real estate, you think that translates to anything else?
It translates to everything. QC has
That's
people,
what I'm saying,
if you guys are not familiar with people, they have artists like Lil Baby, who's the biggest rapper in the world right now. They got Migos under their catalog. They got City Girls on their catalog. They got Lil Yachty on their catalog. Like they're stacked on QC. So for 300 million, I mean, it just makes me wonder. I mean, you got people like an individual like Justin Bieber, who sold his music catalog recently for like 200 million. I think Justin Timberlake sold it for like 100 to 200 million. If one individual can get, I mean, I'm not saying that these guys on QC are near the level of somebody like Justin Timberlake, for example, but I mean, 300 million for an entire label, bro. I'm just tired of watching these black independent labels sign off.
I think that's a super 300 million. It's a super low ball to me.
They signing off the rights to these white people, and I just don't understand why. Why can't you sign?
Because they see dollar signs. But like, I think anything under $1 billion, I think is a joke.
There has to. I mean, maybe not for QC. Like QC is not worth $1 billion. I mean, but at the same time, it's like, what the fuck do I know, right? Because like, look at like Death Row. Look at like somebody like Death Row. Look at somebody like Def Jam. Like all these. I think Def Jam was started by was black founded. I think. Correct me if I'm wrong. Rockefeller Records, like these types of independent labels. All of these people end up selling their shit to all these white-owned companies, and eventually down the line, the return over like I think hip hop is celebrating its 50th anniversary this year. Over 50 years, bro. The amount of return that you're gonna get is much more than $300 measly dollars. Million measly dollars.
Yeah, I think that's stupid. 300 mil, bro, and like you said, 50 years of history. You got a little baby. Like I don't know if I feel it. If it was $1 billion, I could see them selling. I could see it, but I just don't. I think they got lowballed.
A lot of times, it's like, especially right now, you have to think about like maybe these people are just making business moves. Because I mean, I can't speak about the past, like in the 90s and shit like that, but I mean, there are people that are saying we're in a recession or heading towards one of the biggest recessions. You know, all that shit. We're not gonna get into that too deep, but you know, maybe it's just a little bit of a protection. Maybe they just needed the money and they just want to prepare for the next move. I don't know. Maybe they have plans on doing some other artists. I don't know. It just makes me wonder. Let's talk about Hogwarts.
Hogwarts Legacy, man. I've been looking forward to this topic, man. Yeah, man. I mean, for those who are not Harry Potter fans, Hogwarts is the school that the Harry Potter characters go to learn magic.
Who doesn't know that?
You'd be surprised, man.
By the way, guys, Superman is from the planet Krypton. I'm just playing. Go ahead.
I don't think it's that ubiquitous, but yeah. So it's like an open world, like it kind of reminds me of like Batman or like in terms of the combat, like Batman, but it's like wizards and magic. It's like Batman or like what's that game called? Shadows of Mordor. It kind of reminds me of that combat, but with wizards and magic and shit. And it's getting more controversy than I even imagined in my life. Like they're like legitimate black folks get shot like 70 times and you don't see nowhere near the amount of anger and people being triggered. The amount of people are like making websites to track streamers who stream the game so you can ban them or you can cancel them.
Canceling niggas. And canceling ordinary niggas.
Now to prepare for this topic, man, I've watched all kinds of shit and reasons why people are banning the game. We can get started. I think the biggest first reason is that J.K. Rowling is a very vocal anti-trans person. She's very vocal about, and she also supports organizations that are anti-trans. Mm-hmm. So that's like one of the biggest things right now that people are so angry about is that if you support this game, you're a transphobe.
Right.
Basically. And it's to the point where people are making websites saying, we'll let you know if your favorite streamer streams the games, you can block them. You can It's like a database where you can type in like a streamer's name and it'll let you know if they block them. They're spoiling the game. So I've seen pictures of like, get this legendary item in Hogwarts Legacy. And you click it and zoom in and it's like, gives you all the major spoilers of the story.
They going in.
In a middle finger. In a middle finger.
People are saying things about what else?
Another thing that people are talking about is that, and this is like, I don't know how I never see, but my mind doesn't wander there. See, my mind doesn't go there. So I never thought about it. But they're calling out like every single thing that's like racist and bigoted in the Harry Potter series is that if you've ever seen Harry Potter, there's like goblins and ghouls and of course it's fantasy, but the goblins in particular, they're like an oppressed group of people who have very big ears, big noses, like they have like sharp teeth, like fangs and sharp teeth, and they are like the bankers of the Hogwarts world, and they depict them as evil, and they have to be suppressed and they have to be subjugated, and you have to watch them, but they can control the money though. It feels and they control the money. It feels very, I mean, people are pointing out that it's very, and now that it's been pointed out to me, I can see it very clearly that based off of World War II anti-Semitic depictions of Jewish people.
Damn.
I watched a whole video on it, and I was like, how did I not?
It kind of makes sense.
Pick up on that. It's like so ridiculous. They put the goblins like side by side of like a lot of the propaganda and like racist depictions.
Exactly.
And it's just like, whoa. It's kind of like, whoa.
Because people like today, like we're so far removed from that. Like you said, our minds aren't even going to go to that. But someone like J.K. Rowling, how old is she? Is she a boomer?
I think she's a boomer. She's like in her 50s. She has to be
fucking
in her 50s,
boomer.
60s.
Fucking boomers. She would definitely do that shit. And you were talking about something else though, where it connects to the anti-Semitic.
Yeah, and there was like, you know, in Harry Potter, there was a Goblin rebellion in the Harry Potter history in 1612, and people were putting it together on the internet. That's like, hey, there was like from 1612 to 1616, there was like a whole attacks on Jewish people, like heavy attacks on Jewish people.
Right.
At the same time, makes you wonder. Could be a coincidence.
Hell no, it's not. No,
but that's kind of weird. That's kind of strange.
That's like
that exact
Martin
year.
Luther King Jr. was killed in this year, and then in the same game about slavery, or not slavery, in the same game about civil
and segregation.
Yeah, exactly. You're gonna have one of the main figures be assassinated on the same year. Like, duh.
Yeah.
So people are really finding out this shit. They calling her out for her shit. And now, does she have that much? Is there anything else that
there's a lot? There's a lot more. Not necessarily the game, but just like they're criticizing the lore of the series and itself.
Weren't they criticizing the names of the people too? That shit was
like
the craziest.
I never thought. See, bro, some of this shit. Like I watched the hour-long video that like broke down like all the bullshit, and like went deep. Was bringing up the history. So there's a black character. They say he's Caribbean. His name is Kingsley Shacklebolt. So Kingsley, like Jamaica, like Kingston. I think it's Kingston. I think it's called Kingston. I'm just double checking, but I'm pretty sure.
Kingston, bro.
Kingston is in Kingsley is Shacklebolt. You know, see the shackles. Yeah, Kingston, Jamaica. So his name is Kingsley Shacklebolt. It's like put the kufi on. You kind of wonder. You know what I mean? Like I'm kind of wondering. Easy. And the next one is there's a character of Chinese descent. Her name is Cho Chang. A lot of people are saying like,
"Come on,
who
bro.
do you know that's Chinese name Cho Chang?" It's like
never met a single one.
I've seen people say it's like taking like two last names or someone said when I did some research today said that Cho is actually Korean and Chang is Chinese. So it's like she didn't care. It's like if you just took like one part of Africa, their name, and another part of Africa, different language, their name. That's her name. Just they blacks, they African blacks. So
that was her version of Tyrone and Jamal.
It's like Tyrone and Jamal. That was her version of Tyrone and Jamal.
She was trying to be subliminal about the Ching Chong shit. That's all she wanted to say really was Ching Chong.
Tyrone Jackson.
That's stupid, bro. So they calling her out for her shit.
Keisha Johnson.
And that makes complete sense, bro. Some of these people just need to, like I was saying with the Grammys, bro. Some of these people just need to be taken out back and put a gun. I'm not gonna say nothing more. I'm not because I don't want to get taken down. I don't want to get taken down, but off YouTube. But
and the next thing that a lot of people are really talking about, and I'm playing the game. You guys can criticize me. I pre-ordered the game, downloaded it before, and then I started seeing some of the controversy. That was
bold of you.
But I didn't really. I'm gonna be honest with y'all. I bought the game.
That was bold.
I'm past the. I had played a couple hours when I got it, and then I started doing more research. I pre-ordered and everything. Got it 2 days early. So before y'all say, "Well, he got the game and he knew." Listen, I knew about the
you knew about it. You knew.
I knew about the transphobic controversy, and I still got the game because I'm not gonna lie to you. Harry Potter is like deep in my heart, man. I mean, I was a little kid. And my mom was like reading the books to me when I was like a child, dude. I saw every movie in theaters. That was one moment of weakness. But now I regret it when I see all the other stuff that I didn't even just catch. This is shit I saw growing up. I knew about Kingsley Shacklebolt. I knew all their names. I just didn't think about it.
Are you ready to tell the audience that you're no longer going to support the Hogwarts family?
Well, I'll say going forward. And this is what I'll say. I would not give her any more money. I will say I will not give her any more money, but I can't promise that I won't do alternate methods to still enjoy some of the
alternate methods. That's funny. So you're not going to boycott with your jollar.
Exactly. Like what I do is like
still
there's like
enjoy the content when you can.
Example like the rich guy. But like the last thing that people are really talking about is how the and I'm playing the game, so I see it. I'm aware of it. Is that there's the Goblin Rebellion. Remember, we just talked about the 1612 Goblin Rebellion.
Right.
This game takes place like in the late 1800s, I think. There's another Goblin Rebellion where the goblins are like, fuck the oppression, fuck the bullshit. We taking over. We're gonna separate. It's about to be goblin supremacy in this bitch.
The entire game is about slavery. That shit is stupid.
Slavery and oppression, because the elves are enslaved, but the goblins, I don't think the goblins are enslaved per se, but they're oppressed. They can't have wands. They use wandless magic. They're not considered human enough per se to use wands. So the whole game is literally about you discovering the plot of the rebellion, and you got like some ancient magic, and you just like eviscerate in Avada Kedavra as many goblins, waves of goblins.
That's stupid, basically. Bro. That game needs to get canceled, and I guess they already on the track to doing it.
And the goblins are literally oppressed.
What else we have?
Next topic, a lot of people are talking about is that is rumored. There was a rumor going around that Leonardo's dating, and apparently they're friends from the research they did, but dating this. I think she's a model, and she's 19. And the man is almost 50.
19,
and people are criticizing. And apparently, he's saying that he's disgusted by the rumors that he's known her for years, so he knew her when she was underage, and that they're just friends and they're cool. Everything is cool. And he's distraught by the rumors, but it's opened up to a wider conversation on. Okay. People are like, well, it's legal. How are you going to criticize the man?
True.
What are your thoughts on it? Like what?
Well, I mean, I think
is it predator? Would you say it's predatorial if you're 50? And I think so.
Hell yeah.
I think it's like this is a child. Like even though legally, you won't get in trouble if you have sex or whatever. This is 19, bro. I was a kid.
That's a 30-year-old. That's a 30-year age difference.
I don't care what anybody says. Like,
and that is at that age, bro.
Like
you are
not
way
a
too
child,
impressionable.
But like,
way too impressionable.
I already know how I was
to be dealing with somebody that's 30 years or elder.
Exactly. I don't agree with it. I think, but see, my thinking is after 25 to 30, somewhere in that range. I haven't in my mind come up with a number, but I'd say probably about 27. If you want to date someone at Leo's age, you old enough. I think you're old enough. But that's a lot. That's a jump. That's a jump.
I suppose
by then you should be on your own. You have a lot more life experience. Who's anybody to say at that point? Some people still criticize it.
I would probably date somebody at that age if I was like, in my late 20s. I definitely would. But I do think that there's a difference.
Somebody in their late 40s?
Yeah, I would do it. But I do think that there's a difference. I do think there's a difference, though, between a young man dating an older woman versus an older man dating a younger woman.
Yeah, and the thing I wanted to talk about is just like, it doesn't get commented the same way, but like, when a older woman dates a younger man, it almost seems like it gets like a yes girl kind of thing. But the other way around.
That's what I was saying. Yeah.
And I'm talking about like 25 plus. Let me just clarify. I already told you that my age range, 25 to 30. I don't think you should say anything.
Right. I think most people would agree with that.
Comment on that. People still comment on that, where it's like, there are I've seen older women comment on a man who's 40, 50 dating a 25-year-old or 30-year-old. You're a creep. She was a child when you were 30, or she was a baby.
Because I think it's the gender role thing.
You're a creep. But then the other way around, it's kind of like empowering. It's like, oh, get that young D. This is just me repeating what I've seen with my own eyes on Twitter.
I've heard that. I've heard that too.
Whole comment sections in agreement with these things.
I think it's just gender role things. A lot of times when we look at men in relationships, we look at them as the quote unquote leader, the provider, the protector. And so if you're looking at an older man trying to lead and protect and provide for someone who's barely of age, you look at that like grooming. But if it's the other way around, because women are more so looked at to be led in relationships, more so to be protected, this, that, and the third. If you see them with a younger woman, with a younger man, you're probably not thinking in the same thought, because you don't in your mind imagine that they have the capacity to do that. It's some sexist shit, but I think that's just the reality. That's the way I see it.
And I think it's just like we attribute value where it's like, and this is like what people say, whether it's true or not, I guess but this is what I've seen, think people think is commonly agreed upon. When a man dates, we can get into the racial component of it, but when a man dates a younger woman, it's just kind of seen as normal, and it's kind of like, I think people think like, if you see like,
it's common.
They have a lot of magazines that are like sexiest men, like world's sexiest man or whatever. They have like Idris Elba age men on there.
Yeah,
like it's like men. As a man gets older, it's kind of like he's more established, and if you keep yourself in shape, you could do well with younger women.
Yeah,
versus the other way around, a lot of women are criticized for their age. They're criticized for their age. After the 20s, maybe early 30s, you start getting more scrutiny, and the pool doesn't work the same. I think it's harder for an older woman to get with a younger man than it is for an older man to get with a younger woman. I don't think that dynamic is equal in any sense of the word.
Yeah.
So when an older woman pulls it off, I think it's celebrated.
It's also proven. Yeah, it is celebrated, and it's also proven. It's almost like down to like a science, because they do take polls on this stuff, and they do find out that most men of all ages prefer women around that age range of like 20 to 25, and maybe even younger, like 18, 19. So I don't know if that's like because I know a lot of people try to break it down to a science and be like, well, that's because, at a certain age, they're not able to have children at the same da-da-da-da-da, but I don't know if that's what it really is. I don't know if it's an evolutionary thing or anything like that. I might be serious and making it too serious, but that is proven, though. That is proven. I'm not necessarily like that. I mean, I don't really give a fuck about age. I'm more so like, if I find you attractive, I find you attractive. Like, what'd it do?
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, that's really all I gotta say about the topic is that, like, I think, listen, all I can say, I believe it's predatorial. People just straight up call you a pedophile. Like, even if at his age dating someone, I think it's predatorial. I'm not calling the man a pedophile. I just think it's interesting. I'm like, if I'm 50, my limit is shifting as I get older. At 50, my shit is 35 minimum at 50, near 50.
Yeah, it's a little
then
nasty.
I'd probably say 30. So if I'm 50, I think my absolute minimum is like 30 years old that I would be. Even 30 probably.
I agree with you. Let's get into You season 4.
Yes, sir. I watched You season 4, man. For those who don't know what You is and Penn Badgley, it's basically a show about this like straight up like creeper dude. He's like he's
a serial killer.
He's not an incel though. I mean, he's a serial
killer.
He's like a serial killer stalker.
Can we call it what it is? There's too much.
I'm calling it what it is.
Fetishization of these serial killers.
And he acts like he creeps like an incel, but he actually gets sex. But like, he's a murderer.
People are trying to protect these fucking serial killer shows, bro.
Let's just straight up. So I can't call him an incel, but he acts like an incel, even though he's not an incel. And he's just like, he acts like a simp. He's like a possessive, murdering simp, essentially. He believes in true love, and seasons of him just killing women, and then whatever. But season 4, they try to reinvent him. I guess spoilers, mild spoilers. If you don't want to hear it, just skip ahead like 2-3 minutes. But it was pretty good, man. He moved to London. He moved to London at the end of season 3. He ended up faking his death, and he moved to Paris, and then he ended up moving to London, and they try to reinvent his character. They kind of make it a whodunit this time. Typically, how the show works is that he falls in love with a girl. He becomes obsessed with her. He somehow works his way into her life. He's successfully able to date them every single time. I don't understand. He is somehow doesn't get rejected. Man. He never gets rejected. He stalks her for like months. Then he like carefully plans the encounter. Then they're interested in him, and they start dating. And then they find out about him, and this bullshit happens, and he ends up murdering them.
Normally
what happens.
And then they made it a whodunit this time.
They made it a whodunit where he's like tracking an even bigger monster. And then the monster is like fucking with him like, I know you like it. I know you enjoy it. I don't know
how I feel about that, bro. I'm not a big fan of whodunits unless it's Alfred Hitchcock.
And he's like, you're lying to yourself. I know who you are. This is all in the trailer. This all shit that's in the trailer. He's like, I know you enjoy it. He's like, he tries to convince himself that he's not a monster. He tries to convince himself that like, for a monster, he has limits. For a monster, he has good qualities. That's what he tries to convince himself. That he's like a nicer monster.
And compared to the earlier seasons, how is it? Where does it rank?
It's tough, man. I think so far, we haven't finished the season. I put it about, I definitely think it's the worst season, I'm not gonna lie. But I don't think it's bad. I don't think it's bad though. Like I'm saying, like you could have
clipping this up.
You could have an artist who is amazing, puts out amazing albums, and they may have put out their worst album, but the shit still slaps though. But it
there's
does not
a
hold
second half though.
So far, I think it's the worst season. But it doesn't mean it's bad though. I don't think it's bad. Like I think what's here is really. I mean, it's like a whodunit. He's like found himself in like a society of like rich elites, like these like children of like rich elites, and it's a murder mystery, and one of them is the murderer. I'm gonna be honest with you, the murder was so obvious. I don't know how people on the internet are like, "Oh my god, I couldn't believe it was this person." I'm like, bro, like
same thing with Knives Out though.
Yeah, nah, I didn't. The Knives Out one was a little different.
Same shit. A lot of this
Knives
stuff be
Out
elementary, Watson.
Bro, Knives Out 1.
Elementary.
You had no idea who it was in Knives Out 1.
We didn't know who it was, like, but you do know who it was though.
Literally, when you watch season 4, all you gotta do is to figure out who the killer is. Just think about the name. This is in the trailer. The name of the killer, like the killer's like alias and what they're going by, or people are calling them is the Eat the Rich killer. When you think about that, and then you introduce to all the characters, it should be obvious.
Yeah,
I don't even understand why any. I don't even understand. Yeah, it's very much so they're criticizing elites and they're getting into like how elites sabotage and lobby and all kinds of. They get into like how evil they can be and like.
I kind of like that.
And some of it's a little cartoonish. I'm not gonna lie. Some of it's a little cartoonish. Like some of the like, there's a character in particular who's very much on the. You're a servant. Get on your knees. Be a hoop for. This is like a very irrelevant plot point. It's just, but I just want to. I hope you're okay with me telling you this. It's not like nothing. It's just something a rich person did. To
just say it.
An off-screen irrelevant character, but
just say
they were all at like some kind of like house party or whatever. It's like this fancy British house party, somebody's like fancy castle, and they were playing. What's it? It's not cricket. You know that game where they have those big mallets and they hit that ball through the hoops? It's like a British game.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. It's like a golf game.
It's like a golf. It's kind of like golf. They're kind of like golf. So anyway, their hoop. I think someone got pissed and took the hoop and like chucked it. And she was like, she snapped her fingers like, "Come here, get on your knees, be our hoop, get on your knees."
They're taking it a little too clownish.
You're a peasant. I was
corny.
like, what? I was like, Jesus Christ.
But overall, out of 10,
I'll give it a 6.57. You know,
we can live with that.
Season 3.
There's room for growth.
Season 1 and 2, I love, bro. I give them a 9. This is like a 7. But like, to me, it takes a step back in certain ways. But like, they're trying to keep it fresh, and it sticks the landing for the most part, enough to get a 6.57. But they try to do something different. They try to redeem Joe, and I don't know if he's redeemable. Dude is like a straight up.
I'm telling you, bro.
Creep.
You're gonna call it what it is.
They're trying to redeem him a little
bit, bro. A lot of these.
He's trying to redeem himself like more than any other season. There's a lot of seasons. He's like, I'm gonna go down a different path. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do that. Then shit starts getting real. And he starts killing people. This season is really him really trying. I mean, there's like several moments where it would have been the best option for him to kill, and in previous seasons he would have done it. But he's really trying this season. They're really trying to make him like trying to redeem him. But I think
forward to the second half. Definitely,
second half he's gonna start going hard.
Let's move into deep cuts.
Okay.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Episode 43, Top Tier Podcast. Thank you for tuning in. We'll catch you guys same time, same place next week for a new episode.
Take it easy, y'all.
Fucked up those drops.